Good morning. Today will involve a lot of bleeding brakes. So being a lazy git, I was trying to find ways to bleed the master cylinder without removing it from the car. But there's no good way to do it. Just take it off the car and do it on the bench. Honestly, you spend half the time thinking a new idea and you could have done it by then. So over to the bench. So I've never done this before, but I've been watching lots of videos on the subject and it's fairly straightforward. I didn't want to remove these pipes because I don't actually have a kit to do this, and these connectors are actually a different size from everything else in the car, so I just don't want to disturb them. So what I've done is I've just threw on some pipe onto the ends, because these ends are easy to replace. I've got plenty of them, 3/16 or 3/8, whatever they are, right? And I've got two hoses then, one from each, front and back. They'll go into the reservoir, and basically I just pump this, and I keep on pumping until there's no air bubbles in there. And then when it's time to install, I'll keep these in the chamber until it's ready to install, and then I can just take them out, take these ends off, pipe them back into the combination valve. Right, let's get bleeding. .3 brake fluid. This seems very thick. Possibly lumpy. I'm going to try it. I'm going to use a different one. I think flies maybe get into this or something. Oh great, I might as well empty this one out. Okay, that was weird. Right, let's try this stuff. Okay, that's clear, that makes more sense. It's almost like the other one was transmission fluid. How bizarre. Right, I will stick these ends in. Let's start pumping. You want a closer look? Bubbles. I'm going to just keep doing this slowly but surely until there's no bubbles. Could take a while. And I need to make sure that the fluid doesn't drop below the pipes. Well, it's not that urgent, as long as it doesn't drop below the bottom of the reservoir. Okay, put you back here until we're done. And forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. Easy bubbles in. Okay, I'm done. I've only made a tiny mess. Right, I'm going to keep these tubes in place for now, transfer it to the car, try not to make too much of a mess. was a horrible mess. Oh well. The exhaust will burn it off. Okay. So I need to start pumping from the inside and make sure I keep that topped up. Obviously I need to play with brake bleed nipples and stuff as well. To make life easier, I'm going to raise all 4 wheels off the ground. So I'll get the jack and 4 axle stands. Right, we're almost ready to start the bleeding process, and I'll be starting with the furthest away from the master cylinder, which is the passenger rear. This is the little setup I've got going. Tube coming from the brake cylinder, and the tube is all the way in the fluid, so that there's no chance of air getting back into the system. And I need to make sure I keep fluid in there, but there will be fluid in there. The more I bleed, the more fluid will go in, and obviously I won't be reusing that. But before we get started, there's a very important little tool we have to look at. If you have a brake system like this with the combination valve, let me explain how it works in case you didn't know. This white section here is your low pressure sensor. So if you have a break in your fuel line, it will send a signal. And how does it do that? Well, inside this brass block there's a piston, okay, and the only thing stopping the piston from moving is brake pressure. If you're low in pressure, then the piston, let's say you have a break in your front brake line, it will detect low pressure and it will force the piston towards the brake, blocking it off, so that you still have brakes on the back. If you have a brake in the back brakes, if the back brake line is broken, the piston gets pushed down that way, it detects there's low pressure, it blocks off the back, and you still have front brakes, and then you get the little light lighting up on your dash telling you that you've got a break in your fuel line, your brake line. So when you're plumbing in your brakes, when you're bleeding your brakes, because there's no pressure anywhere, the piston's free just to move about, and that's where you need this. And what this does is, you take out your sensor, you screw this in while you're bleeding your brakes, and that little pin prevents that piston from moving left and right. Once you're finished bleeding your brakes, you can take this out, put your sensor back in, and you're good to go. So let's get this plumbed in. So this shouldn't be mega tight, it's only plastic. It doesn't have the same sort of pressure that a brake line would have. And you know it's not supposed to be tight because the tool that you get is actually just, you just put it on finger tight. So that's good to know. I'm not actually sure how this gets wired up because it's only a single terminal going in. I'm not sure how it gets earthed, so I'll look into that. It's got a little O-ring in it as well, make sure that that's still in it when you reinstall. Put my plug in. The plug doesn't even have an O-ring, so I guess it's not expecting any fluid to come out of there. Right, finger tight, we're good to start squirting fluid everywhere. So I've loosened the passenger rear bleed nipple, all the other bleed nipples and all the other brakes are tight, so the fluid will want to go to the passenger rear brake. So I'll start pumping the brake, not like a maniac, just smooth and all the way down, and you'll see that fluid starting to go down. When it gets to minimum, I'll be topping it up constantly. Let's get it pumping. Right, I'll go to the back of the car and see if we've got any more fluid. I'll take a magic marker and we'll just mark where the fluid level is. So because I'm doing this on my own, I'm going to mark that at that level there, and then do some more pumping, and then come back and consult the video and see if I'm still getting bubbles. That's better. Right, I will consult my video and see if I was getting bubbles. Right, I noticed I had a bubble and then I did 2 more pumps and there was no bubbles after that, so I'm quite happy with that side. So now I move round to the driver's rear. Right, I'll consult my video for bubbles. Right, bubble free at the back, onto the front. Right, we actually should have pedal pressure now. I need to pump it a couple of times before I'll get actual pressure. That's not solid. I must have a leak. I know that looks like a leak. It is a leak, but it's a transmission leak, which I think I've fixed. Anyway, I'll go and search for brake leaks. I didn't find any leaks, other than all the leaks that I made, but there's no fresh leaks. So I'm going to put this back in, see if that makes a difference. If that doesn't, then I'll need to bleed them again with a human pressing the pedal tonight, but I can't do it myself. I want to take this plastic. There you go. There's the inch. Oh, I just can't tell if it's working or not. I guess the only thing I can really do is start it up, put it in gear, see if the back wheels spin. I know I can't do the front at the moment, but at least I know if I'm getting anything. Right, I tried starting it up, and the brake pedal's even softer because I know the booster's working, so it's just doing that. So I guess this system of self-bleeding by yourself, it just doesn't work for this setup with the big discs in the front and the drums in the rear. So I'll be waiting until someone's available to help me later and try and get this done. There was no braking at all. While I'm waiting for the help to arrive, I'm just going to throw my kitty litter everywhere, since I've made such a disgraceful mess. I'm hoping I've fixed that transmission leak. I've just blocked off the speedo cable which is where it was leaking from. Yeah, so I'll let the absorbent do its thing, and hopefully I can just sweep it all up and it'll be perfect later. Fat chance. Right, I'm waiting for my assistant to appear. The car's here. She must be getting into something a bit less comfortable. Yeah, I let my reservoir run dry and now I'm out of fluid, so I need to start it all again, but not tonight. I'll get up in the morning, get to Walmart and get some more brake fluid and a white paint pen. Alright, Aussie jazz. Whatever. I'll maybe post this, or I'll just wait. Nah, I'll wait till tomorrow. See you in the morning. Another day, another t-shirt to ruin. Right, I got some stuff at Walmart. Actually no, I got some stuff at Canadian Tire. Right, 2 bottles of .3 brake fluid, and I got a new roll of clear tube so I can see what's going on. I also modified my used fluid receptacle device, so I'm not going to have that pressure build up with all these little breather holes around the top. At least that's the plan. So I'm going to just put in the old fluid that has now turned blue. What's going on, you may ask? Basically I had left that Samco hose in there overnight and it's obviously, yeah, but that's okay because there's pretty much no chance that's going back into the system. And I'll put it into that bottle there. Right, let's get started. Right, full of fresh fluid, and I'll be starting passenger rear. Let's go. Ah, well, that went way easier than the last time. I didn't even destroy my t-shirt this time. And I didn't get any in my face this time either. So I'm just waiting for my son to come down to go around the brakes again with a human pressing the brake, get a bit more pressure in the system, and then once that's done, I'll reinsert this little guy. And hopefully I'll have brakes, and I'll start it up, put it in gear, see if it stops, the back wheels at least. Right, my son was down, helping me bleed them properly. Thanks, Kyle. I've reinserted the little sensor, so now I can start it up, see if it works. Right, applying brakes. Right, we obviously have brakes, but the pedal's still going all the way down to the floor, so I need to look into that. Okay, I had a thought. It's possible that it's actually the pivot angle that's wrong, and it's not that the pedal's going all the way down to the floor. Oh, wow, there's actually quite a lot of pressure on it, but you could actually push that all the way down with your foot. And it's much easier obviously when the booster has got a vacuum in it. But it's possible that the rod is not actually going all the way in, because if the pivot angle's wrong, then it's not there's not enough ratio of leverage and force. So I might change that pivot. I'm going to make a new pedal anyway. This one is it's not long enough, it's the wrong shape, it needs to curve around that way a little bit so that it's, I don't want to do left foot braking. So I'll remake this and I'll look up pivot angles and see what's scientifically proven to work. There's also adjustment in there as well, and there's also adjustment between that rod and the rod that actually goes at the other side of the brake booster. So lots to look into. Now, I'd love to put the wheels on and take it for a wee spin to the end of the driveway and back, but I don't have a gas pedal hooked up yet. So I guess I will finish this video for today, and then I'll go and work on the gas pedal. I also want to extend the steering column out by about 3 inches, it's just too close to my knees, and obviously make a new pedal with my new pad. So lots to do before I can really move it under its own steam. So any thoughts on the whole pressure thing? As I say, there is pressure without the vacuum on. Maybe it's just because it's a modern master cylinder, which is designed for girls and, you know, millennials, so that they don't hurt their wee legs. I don't know, but it seems awful easy to me. But if it works, anyway, answers in a postcard, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and as usual, please subscribe. I appreciate everyone. Bye bye.